Good evening and welcome to the Planning Board meeting, Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. Present this evening, we have Daniel Edmiston, Clerk of the Board, Gregory Benoit, Member, Russell Giglio, Member, myself, Guy Horn, Chairman. We have Don Johnson, our Town Planner, and Carol Savard, our Clerk, present. And starting off with our agenda for this evening, item A, approval of meeting minutes from December 12th, 2018. Has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes from December 12th?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I had a chance to peruse the minutes, and I find everything to be in order. I make a motion that we accept the minutes as recorded.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the minutes as written. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. We'll sign 2 copies. Next item on the agenda, item B, annual report for fiscal 2018 is due March 27th.
Obviously, I haven't started that yet, but
Haven't started yet, but you did have last year's to work from.
oh yeah.
So it's basically just,
Send you that notice because just to see what the directions are. And
right, and then,
anything particularly you want me to include that we may not include last year, or pretty much a routine we're into?
yeah, I mean, I think I would put in there, you know, obviously we have to put in the total of permitting that we collected for the year, that we've gotten our first 2 new subdivisions since 2011, so the development is start picking up.
Not sure if that's on that fiscal year, though.
Because that would have ended at June
Yeah.
30th.
Preliminary plan was, not the definitive was this calendar year, fiscal year.
Yeah, okay, so if they were submitted before the end of June, then mention that. And we did have 1 solar farm permitted and 1 solar farm denied. We could mention that. And then you could talk about this community development grant and all that stuff.
The new configuration of the board, does that go in there as well?
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, who got elected and who got appointed and, yeah, and who left the board. So do you think we'll have a problem making the March deadline?
No.
No, okay. All right, so we're good on that. The next item for discussion,
Probably bring up the first draft, like the first meeting in February.
okay. All right, so, actually, before we go too far here, I just think of it, I'll talk about it right now. The next meeting is scheduled for January 23rd. I will not be present for that meeting. So if, the chair would go to Pam, she's the vice chair, but if she doesn't want to run the meeting, then it would go to, Dan, it would go to you.
Okay.
So, right now, all you have is that you have somebody that wants to come in and,
I'm thinking about that, yeah, the community development block grant, we'll get into that when we get to that section.
okay.
It's going to be pretty much, the CMRPC and their representatives are pretty much going to run that.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know, so that,
That's appreciated. Yep. No surprises.
so, C, discussion status report, construction. So, Pierpont Estates, vote to reduce surety amount for work completed since 11/28/2018, and I believe we have an accounting of that in our books, so we should have under C. So I read this over, and it looks to me like Graves went out, reviewed the original checklist that he had given to us from the last time we reduced the bond. I believe it was over 600,000 down to 257,000. And now Graves, Jeff Walsh of Graves Engineers been out and has reduced it even further, and he's recommending that our new bond would be $190,000 even, down from $257 even. So would somebody like to make a motion that we reduce the bond for Pierpont Estates from $257 down to the $190,000?
We have discussion first?
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of, the changes appear to be all items that may or may not have been constructed or
At the
done.
time.
A chain link fence reduction, there's a
Done.
clean catch basins. It is done.
Anything Jeff indicating the margins has been done.
Okay, so all this stuff that is down to zero is
Catch
now.
basins are clean.
Yep.
Yeah. Catch basins are all cleaned out. The hoods are being put in. I don't know if they've all been put in or not. Get some notes on that.
Jeff wouldn't have zeroed it out if it wasn't done.
No, I just know last time that
The fence is
we,
all done. We walked the whole thing the other day.
but last time we talked, if I remember correctly, Jeff had mentioned the fact that there might be reduction in numbers or quantities. So I was just wanted to
okay.
double check to see exactly what the reductions were coming from.
And actually, we have Mr. Secura here. Come right up, we're on you. You walked in at the right time.
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay,
So we're looking at the review that Graves did for your subdivision. And last time we were here, it was at a total of $257,000. And Jeff went back, and it looks like he took care of, or it looks like you took care of the cleaning of the catch basins, chain link fence, more catch basins, catch basin hood, and catch basin hoods, and catch basin, clean catch basins. So Jeff's new numbers to us are from $257,000, he's now recommending that we have a bond of $190,000,
190.
$190. So $67,000 less.
Doesn't include trees. Are you going to talk about that tonight?
Okay, before I want to apologize about last meeting. My house was in fire, and so, because I have a lot of respect for you people there. I didn't came here for the bond today because I have more stuff going on. I mean, on lot 2, I'm going to dig that out tomorrow and get it done tomorrow. That excavation that we have to do on lot 2. So I'm trying to put everything together, and so I want to come back on the next meeting for the bond reduction. The reason I'm over here today is I walked the place with Dawn the other day about the trees,
Okay.
and some place we cannot plant them because we don't have dirt there to plant them. Other place we can't because electricity and sidewalks. It's only a few lots that we can ask the people if we can plant some trees there. Nobody wants a maple tree. Some they talk to me, say, can we pick the tree you want? I say, well, I don't know about that. So my question to the board today is, can we waive the trees because it's so, it's so, and that will help me too.
Don, do you have that letter, that thing there that was part of the
Condition, yeah.
condition? Could I have that for 1 second?
2 copies or just one?
It's just, I believe it's just one copy.
Okay.
So this was, I'm gonna just read to you again what the condition was that was originally filed with the subdivision. It said, upon completion of clearing for the roadway as shown on the subdivision plan, an inventory of viable trees of 12 inches or diameter or larger, remaining within the required front yard setback for each lot shall be conducted by the applicant and submitted to the board for approval. Upon approval of said inventory, the number of viable trees of 12 inches abreast remaining within the required front yard setbacks from the right-of-way of the roadway shall be calculated, and the applicant shall be deemed to have obtained a waiver for installation of said number of trees. The street trees shall be installed by the applicant, shall be installed in conformance with the subdivision regulations, taking into consideration the inventory of existing trees. The location of street trees shall be installed by the applicant is subject to the planning board approval. So that condition that was filed with your subdivision, I mean, if you just simply took a plan, one of your subdivision plans, and drove around your subdivision in every house that had a tree that was in the front yard of every lot that had a tree 12 inches or bigger that was left, and that would give you an automatic waiver for those trees.
Yeah, we have a lot of trees there that we kept, and again, because this, like, going back 10 years, a lot of people already plant their own trees, the trees that they like to.
Right,
Okay, so it's not much left.
I mean, what's the total number of lots there? What are the total number of lots right now that are developed?
The total number of trees,
Total number of lots that you've developed?
I did about 39, 38.
38, 39 lots? So I would, if I was in your situation, Tony, I mean, you're asking us to just do away with the street trees altogether. You have a condition in your subdivision approval already that's gonna grant you some of that, or what you're looking for. All you have to do is take an inventory of what you got. And if you bring that inventory into us, give it to Don, we can give it to Jeff Walsh. The next time he goes out there, he can confirm it. He can confirm it to us, then those trees come off the top right away, no questions asked.
Yep. On the last strip that we did, the last lots that we did, we had what it did, I mean, we have like, and I'm trying to be good, I mean, I think I did at least 3 or 4 inches of loom, and that's all we got there over the ledge. And that's that all section, all right? So, and you go around on Castle Circle, it's the same situation. You go over there, the ledge is all exposed.
I mean, we understand we have to work with you because of the situation you're in with the geology. But the other situation we got too is when these conditions were written up, that wasn't a known condition at that time. Now we know it. The other issue we have is that we now know that we don't necessarily want you to plant the street trees along the street where the plan might show them to go, because we're going to have situations where the roots are pushing up the sidewalks or getting interfering with the utilities, or worse, into homeowners'
Septic systems.
sprinkler systems. Yeah, so we don't want to have a repeat of the same situation again. So, you know, we're willing to work with you, but I think the first thing that I would like to see you do is, based on your original conditions of approval, get the inventory of the trees that are left.
Yeah, because the other issue is now I have to get permission from the people
Right.
plant the trees on their lot, because
Rather than you planting the trees on the lot, maybe it's as simple as you give the people a tree and let them plant it on their lot. I mean, I would be fine with that. I can't speak for the rest of the board, but, I mean, I know it's difficult after you sell a property to somebody. I don't know if I bought a house from you, I don't know necessarily if I want you coming on my property and digging holes and planting the trees, but if you were willing to give me a tree and I could plant it where I wanted to, I might take you up on the offer,
man, they'll kick me out. I mean, that's, yeah.
you know?
So, yeah, I'm just trying to basically round up these numbers. I mean, because I mean, the tree situation, everything else, I'm trying to do everything I can to make these numbers work.
Okay. So, if I understand you, you don't want us to reduce it tonight to the 190, you want us to wait until you do some more work and then you'll come back?
I'll come back on the next meeting, because again, I'll be done tomorrow with this, and let's see, I was going over the numbers, and my numbers look much lower than Jeff's.
You gotta take that up with Jeff, not us.
Oh, no, I will, because I mean, I did, went over the numbers that, stuff that I did,
Okay.
all right? And, okay, so, with the trees, where I am right now, so what should I do with the trees now?
With the trees, you should do the inventory. So take a clean set of drawings for your subdivision and basically go around to every lot and just take a pencil or a magic marker and mark on each lot. You know, if you got 5 trees on this lot and 2 trees on that lot and 1 tree on this lot, just write them in and give us a number and give that to Don, and he can give it to Jeff and let Jeff go through it. And if Jeff says, yeah, you know, you're giving us an inventory that says you have 50 trees, and Jeff goes out there and counts 50 trees, you're good. So it's 50 less trees that you have to plant.
Now, are the trees that we're taking inventory of existing trees that are 12 inches or larger, or just any tree at all?
According to this, it's trees that, the way I'm reading it, it was trees that were 12 inches or larger, or trees that were left and grew to
Okay.
12 inch. I mean, you could have left a 6-inch tree and now it's 12 inches and you get credit for it,
Right,
you
right.
know?
No, they all big trees. I mean,
Right.
I mean, matter of fact, right across from Ross, I mean, she wants to cut those trees.
Oh, I'm sure.
She already told me to cut those trees, and I said, no, I'm not cutting because they're worth some money to me, you know, so. Soon as she's, takes over, I mean, maybe this spring she's gonna be there just cutting everything down.
So, I mean, I think now's a good time to do the inventory. I think it should have been done earlier, but I mean, well, it's the condition of approval. It's been part of your subdivision approval, so we're gonna go back to the conditions. And that if you can take the inventory now and show it to us, give a copy of that to Don, he'll forward it to Jeff. Or if Jeff's out there inspecting something and you have a copy of it, give him a copy of it and see if he can confirm it.
It's a number of trees per lot.
I mean, there may be some lots that don't have any trees, but you might have one lot that has 5 trees.
Right, but my question is, how many trees should I
How many trees do you
place
have?
to each lot?
How many trees do you have you left on each lot? And
Can
even
we
if,
send him just the copy of the conditions, so he
Yeah.
can read number
You
12
think they
himself?
can you take this with him? Yeah, we can give you this with you.
Yeah, no, I got this.
Okay.
According to Graves, they're looking for 58 trees.
Right. So, I mean, if you come back and tell us you've got 50 on there, you've only got to plant 8 trees.
Okay, so now, let's say, I have 50 trees, and I'm supposed to 58. And if they don't allow me to go into their lots to plant those trees,
Then you can offer to give them a tree. And if they don't want to take the tree, then then in my opinion, I would waive it after that. If you try to give somebody a tree and they don't want it, then, you know, we can't force the people to let you go on their property to plant a tree.
right. Okay, so I'm gonna get everybody to maybe sign, give me some kind of paper, say, okay, I
Right.
want it, I don't want it,
Yeah.
all right, and,
There's no open space in there that we can plant trees?
All the open space has a lot of trees there. It's pretty much all wooded.
From the center, you mean that? Yeah.
In the center and like all up the right, when you're going up the subdivision, there's tons of trees in there.
I mean, where your big detention basin is on the right-hand side when you're going up the hill, you only cut down enough trees in there just to build a detention basin. The rest of that's all wooded, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's,
Sure.
Yeah, I underlined a portion there that mentions that they have to be in the front yard within the setback. So I don't know how stringent we want to be with
I
that.
think that'll work. It's a-
Condition, and then it shouldn't be a
guarantee it, but
condition. If it's not going to work, then why is it a condition?
yeah. That was when we were thinking about planting them up close to the sidewalks, and that really doesn't always work anymore. It worked 10, 15 years ago, but it doesn't really work anymore.
The roots would tear it up.
We found that it tears up the roads.
I think tops, I mean, if they allow me to do it, I can maybe just, I'll say maybe 8 to 10 trees that they're gonna allow me to, if they allow me to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, though, the first thing I would start with is figure out what you have that meet this criteria right here in this condition. So if you have, whatever, I'm just picking a number, 50 trees that meet this criteria, and Jeff Walsh agrees with this, then that's 50 less trees you have to plant.
Okay, so, are those trees, they have to be from,
It's all in the condition. It's all in condition number 12. And we've stated it a couple times. I would just recommend reading condition 12. If you have any questions, try to get back to Don or Graves. It's right there in the condition. Number of trees, location where they have to be, size of trees.
yeah, so any tree that is from the front of the house towards the street, that counts?
Yes, isn't the front yard setback.
I can't count 50 trees in one lot, don't
So what, the front yard, what zone are you in? Are you in Res 43?
I'm 40 feet from the road.
So the first 40 feet, you have to build 40 feet off the road.
I said, the house that you're all sitting 40 feet, at least 40 feet from the lot line.
It's an 87? Okay,
No,
so,
the beginning is 40, and then it segues into an 87, a res 87.
okay, so it's what, any trees that are left in that front yard setback, that's what we're looking for. So if it's
Okay.
40 feet or whatever the 87 setback is, it's probably more than 40 feet, right?
Maybe 50?
Yeah, so if it's in the first 40 or 50 feet of the front yard, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, we can't take into consideration the trees that are in the backyard, but trees that are in the front yard, you can consider.
Whatever's planted shouldn't be more than 10 feet from, if you're losing 10 feet from the edge of the right of way, so you're working with 30 feet, I think, essentially,
Right.
for
So-
planting, because you shouldn't, you know, the roots, if you get too close to the right of way, the roots will get into the sidewalks and the,
So basically, anything that's in front of the houses, you know, because I'm sure you met all the setbacks when you built the
Should I cross
houses.
the whole thing, just separate the whole
Hmm?
thing. Waive the whole thing, I'll be done.
Well, we got to find out where you are, Tony. I mean,
Right.
if you've got 50 trees and he's calling for 58, yeah, we're not going to squabble over 8 trees.
Okay, all right.
But if you've got 10 trees and he says you need 58, well, we got to do something about the 48 trees.
Okay, so I have to meet Dawn again over there, so I want to count those trees with Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a witness.
Well, like I said, just make
Maybe
your,
Russell, I don't know
make
if
your,
Russell can
make
do
your
it.
plan, and if you can give it to Dawn, or you can give, because we're going to have Jeff check it anyways.
Yeah,
And-
okay,
And if Jeff agrees, we're good.
all right, so I'm gonna count those trees this weekend, and,
Yep.
I'll send the number in.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much,
thank you.
and trying to survive.
Okay.
And as a brief continuation of this item, kind of a segue a little bit, just for the members of the board, including myself, who don't have all the background. So I know this plan was approved like 10 years ago or so, and then we're having trees in this right-of-way here, and now it's no longer deemed appropriate. Is there some ruling from the Department of, who's making that decision?
It was basically given to us by the previous highway department, what was his title? Superintendent, that he would prefer, if we were gonna accept the road as a public way in the future, not to have the street trees. Typically, they went between the sidewalk and
The first 10 feet or something,
Yeah.
5 feet?
And that's usually where the utilities are buried, under the sidewalks or close to the sidewalks. And in Tony's case, in his subdivision, there's a lot of people that have sprinkler systems installed already up against the edges of sidewalks and things like this. So the superintendent's beef with it was they were lifting the sidewalks, they were getting involved into the public utilities, the water lines, the sewer lines, the electric lines, the telephone lines, all this,
not to mention that when they plow,
right?
you hit them with the trucks, you do it with the mirrors.
Yeah. So, you'll see, like, if you go over to, like, Country View Estates, I don't know, it's not a good recommendation because they're not there, but if you go over to, like, Dave's Way, that one has a boulevard entrance.
Yep.
And they planted all the trees down the boulevard entrance. I believe they did the same thing at, not Tobin Farms, what's the other one? Perryville Estates. They have a boulevard entrance, and they planted trees down the boulevard entrance, and it's going around there, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
see.
they go right up the middle of the street. You
Yeah.
hit them all the time.
Yeah.
So as far as our guidelines are concerned,
We-
trees are required. So we just need to find a better location than within 5 feet of the street.
Right.
That's how I'm interpreting this.
Right.
Okay.
They probably should be at least 10 feet back from the street.
Right,
Those routes are gonna travel, especially if they're building in ledge, because they're not gonna go through ledge.
right.
All right,
So that
thank you.
that would be something to look at, to change the rules and regulations for subdivisions in the future. Street tree locations and numbers.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Don, can I pick up a copy of, or I'll call Jeff and I get a copy from the new
I don't
estimation?
think he's gonna be in this week. I think-
Okay,
He said he wouldn't be in today. I don't know if he was out for the whole week, but you can try calling him. He might be out.
Are you looking for a copy of his estimate?
yeah.
I got it right here, I'll give you a copy.
Yeah.
Can I take
Extra
one,
copy, too.
one
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah, no problem. Here's
He
a
didn't have time to
copy.
prepare the full letter, but he made notes in the margins, so it's pretty straightforward.
All right, thank you very
Don't leave empty-handed. Here's your covenant extension.
Guy,
Oh, I have,
what do you got? I've got an extra one.
so wait, sign, so I have to-
I'm also-
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For it, that's all.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
I have it right here.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
And, go home.
Okay. Rocky Hill Estates, any update on that, Don?
No update on that.
Okay. Piastra Road, that's scheduled for 2019. Country View Estates, Eisenhower Drive. I did send an email to the developer. He is willing to do the repairs to the road. His intention is to get them done before the Springtown meeting, but I let him know that he needs to get his paperwork done before the end of the month. Apparently, he's heading to Florida too, for a vacation, so I sent you an email later on today. I don't know if you saw it yet.
I sent the forms and directions.
You sent the forms and the directions to him? Okay, so he was gonna try to start the paperwork before he got back from vacation. So hopefully, I think the Board of Selectmen are the ones that designate that that has to be done by the end of the month.
First.
Okay, so he knows about it, and hopefully we get that all taken care of, and that can be accepted at Springtown meeting. Tobin Farm Estates, there was a decision on that subdivision also with the Board of Selectmen, that one was gonna be finished. There was an issue with a section of sidewalk that was not previously built, and that area there was gonna be, the solution for that was gonna be, the applicant was gonna be painting a line on the roadway to designate like a walking area on the edge of the road where the sidewalk did not exist, rather than build the sidewalk. So that was agreed to. So that one's another one that should also, if they get their paperwork done, could be taken in the Springtown meeting if they.
Well, those two subdivisions you mentioned also have as-built plans to do, so I'm not sure what the schedule's on that, but
Right, they did
supposed to be in.
grant them until April 30th or 31st to do that work, but the initial paperwork, the
Okay.
acceptance paperwork had to be filled out and submitted
okay.
by the end of the month.
Okay.
So hopefully both applicants will work on that and get that done, and the Board of Selectmen was willing to give them the time, either to the end of April or May 1st to get the work done.
Okay.
Because they understand that you can't do that work in the wintertime. So that would be good if we got rid of those two. That would cross two more off the list. D is final inspections with site plans, including AMP Solar. Have you heard any more on that?
Well, we got the deposit that we're looking for, so we can put it on hold for when the inspection is done, but they don't want to do it till the spring, so.
Okay. But they have paid the money for the engineer to review the,
Paid up front, that's right.
okay. That's good. All right, so unfinished and old business, we have discussion on the status of the economic development planning, including integration of 2015 Village District Study with results of the Village District Walk and Phase 2 Economic Development Strategic Plan, results of Agricultural Forum. Sorry, I lost my place. Results of Agricultural Forum, Saturday, December 8th, 1 o'clock, and potential priority development Village District areas. Don, I think you got some news to share with us on that.
Well, we got another grant. This goes along with the district local technical assistance. And we have the total amount will be $67,000. It's to continue on with that phase 2 identification of resources and that we did, we started last year. And also, there's a project we're working with Webster to sort of define the downtown areas and consistencies. So we have that as well to work with, augments to what we've been doing in Dudley side.
So, Don, can I ask, will that 67,000, will that be split evenly between Dudley and Webster, or how does it work?
I'm not sure it's evenly, but it depends what,
But it's the money's shared for the two towns.
money's shared, yeah, I don't know just what the ratio is, how it's broken down, but it is shared.
But we're both slated to get pretty much the same results.
I think so.
Okay. Right.
Something that came in later didn't make the notebooks, but I'll pass it out to you.
Is this the Marshall Terrace thing?
No, it's not the Marshall Terrace thing, but it's, how many copies of it? Here it is. We're applying for the Community Development Block Grant. It's basically two neighborhoods, I think what we call Jericho,
Okay.
and kind of where we are right now, centered on Brandon Road. The two areas that have a low mod income profile that allows us to use the block grant for that. We're doing an infrastructure upgrade, and we're doing, this first section is the study, the planning for doing the work, planning for what needs to be engineered, and it starts the process going. Right here, there were two public meetings about to take place for this. One is a public forum on the community development strategy that the town will be using, that be creating. Another one is a hearing before the Board of Selectmen. The request was to have the first public meeting before the planning board, the 23rd. This is a summary of what that will entail.
And that would be run by Central Mass Regional Planning.
I figured we don't have a hearing, so probably set that 7:15.
Cool.
We can make notebooks if they can come away.
Thank you.
That's pretty much what it's all about.
So the block grant could be used, like you mentioned, utilities, so like if in this area, or if there was need for new water or sewer lines, or
Also includes things like the drainage structures and the
catch basins.
basin sidewalks.
Okay, that's good.
We had a ADA inventory done at some point in time, probably like 1999. I'm not sure what that is. The selectmen are looking for it. We may have to piggyback on that. We may not have to do it. We'll see what comes out of that. But anyway, we do intend to apply for this planning study for the engineering. Needs to be done to get this work done.
So basically, the study would identify,
What and where,
yeah,
how much.
and how much. And then the community development people would take a look at that and see how much they could grant us for a grant.
Actual work, yeah.
Yeah. Do they let the, I mean, if you give them a laundry list of A, B, and C, do they let the town pick out of A, B, and C what they want to do, or?
It depends. They may have priorities too for what they issue the funds for.
Right, I mean, I'm thinking public safety is probably gonna be like a number one thing, and
Oh, yeah.
then like what you mentioned, the ADA.
What, environmental degradation, if there's any, things of that type.
Okay,
Public safety probably be first, though, yes, I would say so.
yeah, so like if you had some place where there was runoff going into a brook or a stream or a river
Yeah.
versus being catched and maintained and,
Going through some quality measures.
okay.
So they're gonna be here at the next meeting on the January 23rd?
I think 7:15 would be a good time, usually hearing time,
Well, this is a public forum. Are we gonna get public notice out in time?
working that.
How much time do we have to give before a public notice normally?
You don't really have to give any on this particular one, this is more like something you do through social media or newspaper or whatever.
So this is more an informational meeting, not a public hearing.
That's right, the public hearing is the one that comes before the selectmen,
So, because this
probably the second or third week in,
isn't going to require the public to vote on anything.
no.
It just stated as a public forum, and it looks like it wants input from various Dudley
Yep.
boards and
Yeah,
other
I've been working
entities.
with the water and sewer department and with the highway too.
So are they gonna be here at the meeting as well, or is it just for our benefit? I'm just not understanding why they're coming to us.
It could be for the, I think they make, if they make the meeting, I think they should, yes.
So we'll, once you make this, right now, this notice says draft, but you'll make this notice go out to all the boards, and you could request them to come to the, to send it, either be present at the meeting or send a designate in their capacity.
And why are they visiting us and not the Economic Development Committee?
Because I think the planning board applied for the,
Oh, we applied for it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
yeah. The Economic Development Committee doesn't have a full-time or a part-time professional person to do the grant writing or apply for the grants. That falls to the planning board. Okay. And was that pretty much it on this for right now, until next meeting?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, so one other thing I want to bring up, that email for Marshall Terrace went out to everybody, correct?
Correct.
All right, so what happened on Marshall Terrace at some time in the past was, there was 5 lots. The entire circle of Marshall Terrace is basically a little circle, neighborhood. If you go over there, they're all small houses on tight lots. A lot of them are not even up to 8, some of them are 7,000 to 8,000 square foot lots. They're not all up to the Res 10's zoning. But most of the circle is Res 10. There's 5 lots that run parallel to Brandon Road that are in the Business 15 zone, because Business 15 starts from the center of West Main Street and goes back in that area 500 feet, and 500 feet takes it to basically to Marshall Terrace. So there's a woman that owns 2 of these lots, and she's the one that we tried to do the A&R plan for, but her A&R plan that she proposed was not gonna meet the zoning, so we didn't refuse to do it, we just notified her that it wasn't gonna meet the zoning and it wasn't gonna give her what she wanted, because she wanted to sell a lot and have it buildable. It wouldn't be buildable according to the building inspector, who's the zoning agent. So, after much conversation, she decided to take her case to the zoning board of appeals. I don't think she got the results that she wanted at the zoning board of appeals, because now she's asking if we would be willing to rezone. She's asking for 4 lots, but I looked at the map and there's actually 5 lots, and I think if we're gonna do anything about it, we should do all 5 lots, because,
Actually 6.
is there 6 there?
She has 3. There's 3 others up to the corner.
Okay,
That's on that north side where that loop is behind all the businesses over there.
A little behind the businesses, exactly.
yeah, I think we should take care of it once and for all. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a very much debated thing at town meeting. It's simply changing a Res 15 zone to a Res 10 zone, and like I said, there's, I think 2 or 3 of those lots are already built upon, and they're not even 10,000 square feet yet, so if we go to the Res 10, we'll make them less non-conforming. So, I mean, the people that live there should be happier about that than having a non-conform, I mean, we can't correct their non-conformance, but we can make it better. And that's really all we can do for right now.
She wanted to have a hearing pretty quickly for whatever reason. I don't know if you want to have a hearing in February. That's when there's 2 hearing sessions, I don't know what.
Well, the town meeting is usually scheduled for sometime in May.
Typically have them in March or April, the earliest,
The Board of Selectmen will notify us when the warrant's open, so
yeah.
we'll want to submit that as an article.
You can submit it as an article before the warrant's open, as long
Okay.
as you hold the hearing within 6 months before the time it's voted, so.
Okay, that's fine. If we want to get it done so we're not rushing at the last minute, that's fine.
I figure the second week in February.
Mhm. And then we can notify her that we've taken action on it,
Right.
because I think she's in contact with a lot of different departments.
Just so she knows, I'm gonna suggest to her as well that she include the other 3 lots
Right.
on the street.
So-
It'll shade in a little bit.
52, 53, 54, 63, 64, and
Yeah.
65.
She owns
Those-
the 3 on the left. And
She owns these 3, so these
Okay.
3 are built on pond
And-
right now.
Those are all zoned business 15 right now. We're gonna change it to res 10.
Rest 10.
Would make sense for businesses in that neighborhood anyway, so.
And it would match the rest of the
That's the rest
circle.
of the circle, anyway, so.
Yep.
So, everybody okay with that?
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Make a motion for it, or?
No, I think we can just, Dawn can just start the work on it, and like he said, if we, as long as we get it done we can do it up to 6 months before the town meeting, that's fine. And we're not gonna be, if there's other changes that need to happen for town meeting, we won't have to do them all at the same time. And have
There's a few other
multiple,
things I can work on, there's a few typos I found, misspellings and wrong words and stuff like that.
yeah, that's not a
We
problem.
can do just like one article to correct all the misspellings and the omissions and things of that type, I guess. If you want to do that, I can write that up. That includes that area that's the mill overlay district shown on the map, but it's not in the text. I don't know what happened, it was an oversight some years ago, but
Right.
it just kind of popped up in the district, so.
So you can call it a Scribner's error and put it in there, because it's on the map, but we're not gonna change the map.
Map's not gonna change, no.
Right. So, yeah, that's fine, Don.
Misspellings and wrong words and
Yeah.
that type.
No problem. Was there any approvals or vouchers that we need to sign?
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I've been appointed the environmental officer for the block grant, which doesn't really mean very much. The only thing I have to do is write a letter saying that there are no impacts. It's only a study. It's only a planning study. It's not any physical work, so there's no impacts. So I have to do that under NEPA, under the NEPA rather, National Environmental Policy Act. Basically sending a letter along that says that this is categorically exempt because there's no work being done. That's it. But the block grant application and all that stuff, and the materials from HUD and everything say that the town has to appoint an environmental warrant officer. So that's, I'm gonna sign that duty, and all I have to do is sign a letter that says that impact the environment is not doing anything yet, essentially. That's it.
Okay, was there any other comments from the planning board?
Any update for the subdivision that's going in off Airport Road? We got any plans from them or anything like that yet?
I just had an email from them today saying, do we need a full preliminary definitive plan? I said, I think we do. We do the hearing and everything, but it's not, actually, the road's not gonna be constructed with a full subdivision all the way. It's gonna be narrower and, there's a few waivers to go along with it, but we still need it for construction because after all, those people are under the subdivision regulations. They're entitled to the same viable access that anyone within a subdivision would be. So it has to be submitted under that same system with the hearing and those 2 waters and all that sort of thing.
So I need them come before the planning board with a final plan.
Well, there's a roadway construction plan.
Okay.
You can see for subdivision with the drainage systems and all that,
And that-
utilities and all. It's, this is going to be something different too. Because I don't think, other than that Dudley Estates off Jesse Road, I don't think there's been a subdivision in town the past 15, 20 years that's had public utilities in it. Open sewer and private sewer, septic systems,
Right.
and wells.
This will also trigger another public hearing, so it'll give the residents a chance to come back and and state their concerns. And then, I know we had one resident that said he didn't get a notification in time, but from what I understand, the letter was sent to him in due notice, but he didn't pick it up in time, so.
I'm looking at that with town council right now, see what we can do. It's not required to be sent by certified mail, but a lot of towns assume that, well, at least we have proof that we sent it. Well, there are things I've done in the past, too. I've taken pictures of the envelope, I've taken the photocopies of all the envelopes with the addresses on them before sending them out. There's any number of things you can do. That's quite a burden now, really, to make out that.
Right.
We can do, have the advocates do it, but, we mail it. We'll get some alternatives on that one. I mean, it may be better for us in the long run, because we don't have to deal with people and say, well, you're notified, all right, no. You know, so,
Dawn, could we do certificates of mailing instead?
I'm not sure, I want to check into that too with the post office. If Pam was here, she could answer that one, but we'll check with her first. So she knows, and then I'll check with the post office.
Anything else?
Something that you have that you can send out a certificate of mailing, like you said, is proof of delivery. You get online too. You know, proof of delivery online.
That's it? Anything else?
Any comments from the audience?
I don't think so. All right, so we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you, good night.